Hi guys, it's me Faye here at Faye Dusk with my Witchy reading list 2014. So I decided a little while ago that I wanted to set myself a target of reading a Witchy book each month for this year and then doing a review on it at the end of the month. Just so, sort of like doing a review of my thoughts and feelings and whatnot, and writing any notes and things like that I find useful, putting things in my book of shadows and all that sort of stuff. And I just thought it'd be really fun to watch and fun to do and just all round good, I suppose. Well, I've left it a little bit late to start organising it. I know I'm rubbish. I do procrastinate. It's one of my many flaws. But it's middle of January, so obviously there's no point starting now. I'm starting in February. So that means I was originally going, so I wanted to have the 12 books for the 12 months of the year. So I was going to try and fit 2 in December, but then as I was writing my list out and gathering my books together, like choosing my books, I've got so many books, it's so hard to choose, I decided that it would be more fun if I had, well, I just thought I'll have 11 books instead of 12, and 11's like a lucky number, and I do things differently anyway, so why not? Is basically what we're going for here, why not? I don't like the view very much. Is this a better view? Not really. But yeah, no, so I thought I'm doing 11 books, and as you can see I've got my list that I've wrote out for each book, for each month, and I've got my stack of books here, and I will get started and show you each one I'm doing for each month. And when I finish the book, obviously I'm doing my review on YouTube, and I will also be doing the review on my blog as well. Be posting it up on my blog. So it's all very exciting. But I was uncomfortable on the end of my seat. But yeah, so I'll get started. So for February, I am going to be reading Beyond the Broomstick: Thoughts and Philosophy on the Philosophy of Wicca by Morgana. Ooh, got caught up. There we go, it's that one. Looks really good, I've had it for ages. A nice sort of decent size, not too big book. Should be able to read this nice and quickly. And basically Morgana wrote this 8-part series on the introduction to Wicca with particular emphasis on the philosophical, I don't know why I said that wrong then, thoughts behind it. She examines major concepts such as polarity, triple goddess, the god, and the elements. And apparently this is presented in a clear and easy to read manner, and it's an excellent primer for beginners, but it's also handy information for those who need a more philosophical background. So that shall be my February read. My March one. Also wanted to say that not all of my books are, well, I've not actually bought any brand new books to do this with, and some of them I've read before but haven't read for a long time, but most of them I haven't. I've had for ages and haven't read. But my March one is The Green Wiccan Year by Celia. I've had this book a while and I've started reading through it and doing it, and then life just got in the way. But that's one of my intentions this year, is to not let life get in the way of my spiritual plans. But yeah, no, this is it's really good. I got it on Amazon. I can't remember how much it was, maybe £10. I got it a few years ago. And for those of you who don't know who Celia is, she's used to be, only recently stopped being a columnist for Spirit and Destiny magazine, which is like UK's #1 spiritual magazine for women, and I absolutely love her. I've been a big fan since I was about 15, 16, so I've been a fan for like 10 years now. But I get it every month, and it's such a good magazine. You can get it, you can either get a subscription online, or you can get it in all supermarkets and like W. Smith's and Co-op and all those sort of places. You can get it like everywhere over here, and it's about £3, I think. But it's such a good magazine. There's everything from holistic therapies, food, travelling, Wicca, magic, anything and everything. But anyway, she used to be a columnist there, and she's published a couple of books. But this one, it begins with Yule, and then it has all the 8 Sabbats in it, and basically spells and rituals and like sort of like magic and herbs and meditations and activities to do. And it's like sort of like a diary, so you can record mine's really full because I've got stuff in it, but so it's got there's a tab. I don't know why you can see there's a tab for each of the months. I'll open up a page. So it looks, and it has a pocket. Oh God, getting hit in the face with all my paper. It has a pocket for each month as well at the start of each month, and then there's stuff about Yule. See, I did actually start this a couple of years ago, and it's really good. And there's things like a little change of luck spell at the bottom there. And it's really pretty illustrations. We go through to February, and then this is all fresh starts, or the maiden goddess, and there's all just different things to work through basically. And yeah, it's really, really good. So I'm going to finish that one. Actually going to finish that one. So I look forward to doing that. That's what I'm doing in March. Then in April I am reading The Book of Shadows by Kelly Fillon. I think someone on Facebook may have recommended this or something. I found it ages ago. It was about £15. I got it last springtime maybe. Got it from Amazon. And it's basically a grimoire of magical practices and rituals that reads as if it was written in an earlier century, and the style of the book is sort of like a gothic medieval manuscript. And Kelly is an avid collector of rare folklore volumes and children's books, and she spent her early years within the page of the books about haunted Victorian houses, ghost stories, and books of fairies, myths and magic. And it's so pretty. It's like beautifully illustrated inside. So you've got things like altar blessings. So look how beautiful it is. A ritual for Beltane. Gothic love spell. Moonstone. And what I like about this as well, tarot, loads of things in it. Also as well, you get to the back, and I think there's about maybe 30, no, maybe more than that, 30 odd blank pages for you to fill in. So look, Diary of a Witch, Blessed Being, you fill your name in, and then just basically for pages for spells and magical notes. But yeah, so looking forward to reading that one. And then for May is one of my favourite books I haven't read in so long is Teen Goddess, which is How to Look, Love and Live Like a Goddess by Catherine Wishart. I think she's Australian actually. I've had this book since I was about 14, 15, so as you can tell I'm not really a teenager anymore, but I feel that this is written for like young adults. It's a really, really good book. My sister bought it me when we were on holiday in Devon, and we were in Waterstones, and I remember seeing it and really liked it, and it was about $11.99, and she bought it for me as a present. And it's one of my favourite books, and it's a workbook with information about different goddesses, and basically you work through it. And so basically this is the basics about what is a goddess. Then each page or section, or every couple of pages, there's a goddess workout. For example, as take a minute, take a deep breath and close your eyes. What words or images spring to mind when you think of a goddess? Do you ever think about the concept of a goddess? What does the word goddess mean to you? And then you write and draw your answers down. And so that's all about the goddess, how the goddess can help you. And then you've got, see, that's Magic 101. So basically it's a sort of like introduction to magic and how to sort of like the tools of attraction. And there's things like your magical toolbox, there's sort of like affirmations, meditation, prayers, and there's goddess workout, more goddess workers, but spells and ceremonies and rituals, and then how to have a magical day, creating a goddess persona, make a goddess shrine, gifts of the inner goddess. Then if we go further on, conjuring your destiny, it's a really thick book, And then the second section is about the goddesses. There's the goddess glamours, and then there's a different goddess of each month. So there's like punk warrior goddess. I can't say some of them. Queen. There's like Queen Boudica. There's loads of goddesses you've heard of and goddesses you haven't heard of. Bridget. Saravati. I've said it wrong, I know. She's the goddess of schoolwork, music and sensuality. So in she's the Gothic goddess. So basically there's a bit about each goddess and how you can work with them and ceremonies and rituals, and yeah, so it's really, really good. So that is my book I'm going to be reading for May. And then for June I am reading Fairy Magic by Marie Bruce. This is another book I've had for ages, but it's another really good book that I love. Marie Bruce, as you know, is one of my favourite authors. So this is just sort of like a introduction into sort of fairy magic. So I love her style of writing, so I'm really looking forward to reading that again. And then for July, keeping with the fairy theme, I'm reading Fairy Craft by Alison and Neil Wards. Giddis Wards? I don't know. I can't pronounce it. But it was only $9.99 on the internet. And this one is sort of like, I feel this one's a slightly more in-depth book than on Marie Bruce's one. So sort of like a stepping stone. Marie Bruce's one is into getting into fairy craft. Fairy craft is the creative melding of the fairy faith and natural witchcraft. And this is a practical guidebook with meditations, techniques of journeying that will bring people closer to fairy realm, how to create garden or wild altar, ways of contacting the fairy kings and queens, simple celebrations for groups or people working alone, and guidelines for creating a fairy wedding, baby naming or rites of passage ceremony. The first steps on the path to becoming a fairy priestess or priest. So I really like it inside as well. So I've had this book a long time. And there's bits of poems. It's all about different fairy queens. There's different rituals and the role of sort of like fairy priest and priestess. Tools like fairy magic. Rituals are fairy to magical. Casting a fairy circle, like invoking the fairy king and queen. There's loads of good stuff, so I'm very excited. So I've got 2 fairy books to read, and then for August I am reading Everyday Witchcraft by Kirsten Riddle. And the topics in this book is like, it's sort of like a light-hearted sort of. There's like handbag magic, love spells, magical names, power guides, like cyber magic. So it's sort of like a more sort of like a modern sort of everyday, more sort of like a start in magic. How do you say it? Like a introduction for the modern woman, how to bring magic into your life. So it's like what you'd be a stepping stone, really, what you'd start with. So I'm going to have a read of that. But September is another Marie Bruce book, and this one is First Steps to Solitary Witchcraft. And so this one, I've had this one a long time, I haven't read it for ages. This is a really good book. It's all about becoming a witch, different goddesses, different rituals, different gods, like what is magic, sort of like the elements, different tools, like your Book of Shadows, the Sabbats, moon magic. So there's a lot of different things in that one, and that was a good book. And then for October is a book that my mother bought me for my Samhain present, which is The Salem Witch Trials by Charles River Editors. And I thought, it's like a little thin book, and I thought this is like the perfect month to read it. So it's literally just all about the Salem Witch Trials, and it looks really good. And then for November. I am reading If You Want to Be a Witch by Edin McCoy. So it's like a practical introduction to the craft. And this was a book I bought off Harmony actually quite a while ago. And it's just about the read, Book of Shadows, like casting circle, black, white and green magic, tarot reading, astrology, herbcraft, magical skills, and then spells and magic. So I'm looking forward to that one. And my final book, because I bought this ages ago, maybe a year or two ago off Amazon, but I haven't read it. And this one is How to Become a Witch by Amber Kay and Azriel Araman Kay. Don't know, I probably said it wrong. But it's like an introductory guide to the key beliefs and principles of witchcraft, and offers step-by-step instructions on how to become a witch. And there's things like ritual tools, daily practices, meditation, spellcasting and magic, deepening your connection to nature, divination and dreams, ethics, sabbats, esbats, wheel of the year, gods and goddesses, pentagrams and craft symbols, training, initiation and degrees. So that is my final book. So as you can see, I've got sort of quite a diverse range of books there. But as I get through the year, I'm excited. Excited to be reading all of those. So I will, at the end of each month, I will do a video just saying what I liked about the book, and like if I didn't like anything, would I recommend it, and then I will write that up basically in blog form for my blog as well. So yeah, so that is my witchy reading list, and I would love to know if you have any specific books that you're planning on reading this year, and if you've read any of the books I'm going to be reading as well, or if you feel inspired to buy or get hold of any of the books I'm going to be reading. That would be cool, because then we could be book twins and that would be good. But I am going to go because I've rambled once again and this is going to take forever to upload. But I hope you all have a beautiful day and lots of love and an extra big heap of fairy dust. Mwah.